Hey, what's up, y'all, man? This is your boy, y'all's chosen one, and so are you. We're in a great book of Genesis. We're in chapter 13 now. Remember, Sarah and Abram went to Egypt um, because Yah told them to go, and they ran into a little complication with the Pharaoh at the time. And what eventually happened is that they came out of the situation with the Pharaoh's gold and silver and his cattle. So they came out of it very rich. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to continue in chapter 13. And let's do this. And Abram, remember his name isn't Abraham yet. And Abram went up out of Egypt, he and his wife, who is Sarah, and all that he had, and Lot with him into the south. And Abram was very rich in cattle and silver and gold. Now we know why, because when we read in Jasher, we see that he took all, most of Pharaoh's, he spoiled Pharaoh. And he went on in his journeys from the south, even to Bethel, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning between Bethel and Hai, unto the place of the altar which he had made there at the first. And there Abram called on the name of Yah. And Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents. And the land was not able to bear them. They were so rich that they had so much cattle and livestock that it wasn't able to hold both of them. That they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together. And there was a strife between the herdsmen of Abram's cattle and the herdsmen of Lot's cattle, and the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelled there then in the land. So these were both Hamitic people. These African people were dwelling there, these Canaanites and these Perizzites. And Abram said unto Lot, let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdsmen and thy herdsmen, for we be brethren. So we're kinsfolk. We're not supposed to be arguing amongst each other, man. We're brethren. Is not the whole land before thee? You don't see all this land, man? Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take the left, then I will go to the right. And if thou depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left. So to Abram, it didn't matter, man. Got all his land before you. You know what I'm saying? And Lot lifted up his eyes. Oh, what I got here? And beheld all the plains of Jordan, that it was well watered, everywhere before Yah destroyed Sodom. Oh, everywhere where before Yah destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Even as this little preface right there. Even as the garden of Yah, like the land of Egypt, as thou comest into Zoar. So it was a land, man. It was watered. It was nourished. It's a nice looking land. Then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east. And they separated themselves the one from the other. So Lot went east. And that's a preface too, because, eventually he creates the Ammonites and Moabites from his seed. And we'll read about that later. And it's kind of weird that they went east. And they said, okay, Abram dwelled in the land of Canaan. So, Abram stayed in Africa. And Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain and pitched his tent toward Sodom. But the men of Sodom, who we're going to come to find out, were wicked and sinners before Yah exceedingly. And Yah said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, lift up now thine eyes, and look from the place where thou art, northward, southward, eastward, and westward. For all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever. So see, Yah was with Abram. Lot was his brethren, was his kindred, but Yah was dealing with Abram at the time. And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered. So his promise to Abram was that through his seed. So, when the final judgment comes, then just imagine what Abram's going to be looking at. Like, my goodness. through me all these nations came, man, through me? And that's what Abram's going to be thinking, man. Arise, walk through the land in the length of it and in the breadth of it, for I will give it unto thee. Then Abram removed his tent and came and dwelt in the plain of Mamre, which is in Hebron, and built there an altar unto Yah. All right. So we're going to be again reading in the book of Jasher, being chapter 15. Let's see. And we're going to start with, let's see, hold on here. All right, we're going to be in chapter 15. We'll start with verse 33. And it reads, And Abram arose, and he and all belonging to him went away from Egypt. And Pharaoh ordered some of his men to accompany him and all that went with him. So not only did he get all the Pharaoh's riches and stuff, and a handmaid for Sarah, but he even told some of his men to go with him. And Abram returned to the land of Canaan, to the place where he had made the altar, where he had at first had pitched his tent. So there you have it. And Lot the son of Haran, Abram's brother, had a heavy stock of cattle, flocks and herds and tents, for Yah was bountiful to them on account of Abram. So Abram and Haran are brothers, which makes Lot Abram's nephew. Okay. And when Abram was dwelling in the land, the herdsmen of Lot quarreled with the herdsmen of Abram, for their property was too great for them to remain together in the land, and the land could not bear them on account of their cattle, which is read in Genesis right there. And when Abram's herdsmen went to feed their flock, they would not go into the fields of the people of the land. But the cattle of Lot's herdsmen did otherwise, for they were suffered to feed in the fields of the people of the land. So we read that in Genesis 13, verse 6 through 7. And the people of the land saw this occurrence daily, and they came to Abram and quarreled with him on account of Lot's herdsmen. Okay, not of Abram's herdsmen, but of Lot's herdsmen. And Abram said to Lot, What is this thou art doing to me, to make me despicable to the inhabitants of the land, that thou orderest thy herdsmen to feed thy cattle in the fields of other people? You just can't go into other people's property and feed your cattle and have them graze all over the place, man. Dost thou not know that I am a stranger in the land amongst the children of Canaan? Among these Africans, you're a stranger, dude. You sojourn in their land. And why wilt thou do this unto me? And Abram quarreled daily with Lot on account of this, but Lot would not listen to Abram. And he continued to do the same, and the inhabitants of the land came and told Abram. So, these Canaanites, in a way they was respectable, man, because obviously Abram was a respectable person. And just like some young brat, here's Lot, this young guy, this young cat, quarreling with his uncle, about, man, that, these Canaanites can't take it, blah, blah, blah. And, Abram's like, man, you are a stranger in this land, dude. You just don't go to their field and take over their stuff, man. And Abram said unto Lot, How long wilt thou be to me for a stumbling block with the inhabitants of the land? Now I beseech thee, let there be no more quarreling between us, for we are kinsmen. But I pray thee, separate from me. Go and choose a place where thou mayest dwell with thy cattle, and all belonging to thee. But keep thyself at a distance from me, thou and thy household. One, he is kinsman with him, but at the same time, family gets on your nerve. And two, from what Lot's doing, man, is making the people of this land of Canaan despise Abram, because that's just disrespectful. But having his Lot's herdsmen, his cattle just graze all over the place, in land that isn't theirs. And be not afraid in going from me, for if anyone do an injury to thee, let me know, and I will avenge thy cause from him. Only remove from me. So you're still family. We got differences, but let that be no mistake, man. If anybody mess with you, man, you let me know. And when Abram had spoken all these words to Lot, then Lot arose and lifted up his eyes toward the plain of Jordan. So we see Abram here, he has a lot of pull, man. And this is a preface because when it comes time when Sodom and Gomorrah with Lot's there, it's checking time, man. He had to go get his nephew. And he saw that the whole of this place was well watered and good for man as well as affording pasture for the cattle. So he was thinking with his eyes, man. He was thinking for bread, man. He was thinking like this, the lustfulness of this land is like great. But you don't live by bread alone, which he's going to come to find out. And Abram dwelt in the plain of Mamre, which is in Hebron, and he pitched his tent there, and Abram remained in that place many years. All right. So, that is Genesis chapter 13. And that is also Jasher chapter, the rest of Jasher chapter 15. And from what you get out of that, you see why Lot had to separate from Abram, man. And you see how Abram got rich, man. You see how Abram got rich. Abram got rich through Pharaoh. Because pretty much Yah, in essence, had Abram spoil Pharaoh on account of his wife Sarai. You know, because he was trying to take his wife from him. You know what I'm saying? All right, this is your boy. Y'all's chosen one, man. I hope you guys get in this lesson, get a little bit more informative about things, about your Bible. And hope you guys are having a good day. All right, shalom.